Hi, hello, and welcome to the Galactic Consularship report brought to you by Vertex of Abundance. My name is Serene, Priestess of Losi. I'll be your oracle today. I was sent to deliberate the findings for the upcoming solstice. So, depending on where you are in the world, it'll either be the longest or the shortest day. If you're new, welcome. If you are returning, welcome back. Vertex of Abundance is the galactic temple of ascension, delivering sacred messages from behind the veil. If anything resonates deeply with you, go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe, leave a review, book a session, send a donation. We will be imposing the guidance from Aleister Crowley, Lady Frida Harris, Thoth Tarot. I'm just going to go ahead and get in here and fit in here and see what we got going on. Oh. Okay. So when these two cards come out, the Strength card and the Hangman, it usually means detachment. On some rare circumstances, it could mean losing patience. So it's an interesting season because we have a lot of conjunctions going on during this equinox time. So I know that Jupiter and the Sun are going to be in the same space. So that's usually a sign of manifestation. The Strength card is clarified by the Knight of Swords and the Nine of Cups. So this is the deck that we're using. The Thoth Tarot by Aleister Crowley, illustrated by Lady Frida Harris. We will be deliberating the findings from the minor arcana, minor arcana of the Cosmic Coven Tarot by Lillian Lazenby over at Ripe Avocado for any type of pairing energy that's called combinations. So like a pair of this, a triple that, a set of this, and we'll be using the Vita Sibila Daily Oracle by Los Scarabeo to deliberate the findings for any type of correlative or corresponding energy. If matching energy comes out, like love or union, we'll talk about that then. So the Strength card is interesting because one thing I'm seeing is that we have somebody with their Venus in the 5th or 7th house or in the sign of Leo. That's what happens with the Page of Wands and the Strength card. Also, there's Virgo energy here. Something may be happening even in Virgo season, which is about 3-4 months from now. So that can happen when some of the larger planets are conjuncting with the sun, because the sun and Jupiter and Mercury, they happen to be manifesting planets, planets that help manifest. Cycles completing for our soul incarnation and evolution, Jupiter. Cycles completing for our spirit here incarnate, Mercury, especially when it comes to intention. Sun, that is the soul incarnate, but essentially it's the experience, like literally, the thing viewing the simulation, the thing that's experiencing, embodying said experience. So, like I said, Strength card and the Hangman typically talk about losing patience. We've been stuck somewhere or allowing things to be stuck that were also somewhat unpleasant. Knowing that we could do better, we knew better, or we were ready for the situation to shift, to change. So when a situation does shift and change, we make a move. And for some reason, the other energy, whatever this other side is, whether it's an entity, an energy, an ideology, an enemy, whatever, what have you, they begin to react. But that's a little bit manipulation. If someone or something listens to your standard and boundaries, they don't adhere, they don't make a change, and then all of a sudden we switch our energy, we start to walk on by or walk away or whatever. We shouldn't have to walk away or to actually leave in order for the other side, whether it's energy, entity, ideology, enemy, otherwise, whatever, what have you, so on and so forth, to figure it out and to make it work. There's not a lot of struggle unions here. And there is some kind of union. We have the Four of Wands, which means typically, that means soulmate union. Excuse me, pardon me. The Four of Wands is twin flame union. The Two of Cups is soulmate union. So it also could be that there's some kind of ordained spot that we have. We may have a sacred spot, some kind of position that was ordained by the divine. It could also be union. It's typically a throne, a platform, a pulpit. So we're losing patience in some kind of way because we have the fortitude to take the moves towards whatever gives us this best life, this fulfilled life. And we want to be content. Nine of Cups. What that looks like is we're going to use our intellect, reason, and communication or some type of supreme authority that's in our hand. Now we're learning about it, but we're starting to move and expand it as well because it feels like we're the golden child in some way. The divine is smiling on us quite heavily with this hangman here. So I didn't check something before. I wanted to check the Four of Wands with, yeah. So we were supposed to be doing something and it was kind of stuck. Something was decaying in the background because we had a purpose that we weren't initially aligned with 100%. Now we have the Page of Swords with this Nine of Swords. It's clarified by the Hermit. Page of Swords, Nine of Swords means feeling distressed, feeling haunted, feeling targeted. It could be that we were previously feeling fearful and now we're doing something about it because there's some kind of truth, intellect, reasoning, communication, maybe some type of strategy or cunning that needs to come out. And we're going to find that through going within Hermit. We're going to go inside for answers. So we go for this one, we go until we see the Sun card and the Chariot card, since it's basically solar ingress into Cancer's this solstice. Something here is sneaky or hidden or definitely needs to have a tactic, a strategy, maybe a little bit of cunning. Because again, like I said, we're trying to manifest something. We have an intention, a craft, a skill, a talent, an ability. And with that Four of Wands before, literally, we're supposed to master some type of practical skill and create some type of foundational. Honestly, we're like supposed to be able to build an empire out of it. It's some type of throne, pulpit, platform, but it's ordained by the divine. Four of Wands is ordained by the divine, so is Six of Wands. But also it's a confirmation because we have the hangman out here. So there's been delays to using our skill and talent out in the world. It could also be our craft. I don't feel like it was about a conversation, although there might have been a conversation that we needed to have with ourselves. These two cards together mean moving through fear, moving through conflict, something that's distressing, getting over something that's difficult to do. It could also be a cycle that was getting more and more and more prickly, more and more and more precarious, more and more plaguing, like persnickety, even if there were other people involved, because there was some type of, you know, we had taken too long and then it was just getting harder by the day, I feel. We were doing, oh my gosh, really? We were doing something that we weren't supposed to. We were kind of off path and we found a justification to be off path. So this solstice, this so is it solstice? Yeah, this solstice is about realigning. A lot of the open doors that used to be there, they're not going to be there anymore. Because wherever we were stuck, second guessing, or having to yield to authority, maybe external or internal, if it was karmic, that's kind of over. And if we've been bound, we're going to become unbound. Now, again, there were some difficult things we weren't moving on because we were kind of distressed. This is the distress card, but with this, it means there was an ordeal, or we were buckling under the weight of our own karma, or there was some type of karmic cycle that we were in, and it's coming to a head. Now, it is going to be that we need to confront something, and some of us balk. Not everybody stands up in the face of fear, and that's courage. Courage doesn't mean the absence of fear. It means acting in spite of said fear. So we are going to turn something around to get things moving, because right now they are clearly stuck, and I don't have the clarity that I need here. Because I'm pulling on these two nines. The two nines means the cycle is ending. But again, our road was closed for a while, and honestly, we're chosen. We're supposed to have this big, bright, blessed, beautiful life. And we've only gone 2 rounds here, and already 3 9s have come out. This is a 9-card spread, so, or 9-position spread. So our choice, our favor, our ascension, our having made it, our leg up, boss up, blow up, level up is slightly suspended until something happens. And that thing to happen is to get on the path, to get things moving and shaking. And that's gonna have to, we're gonna have to break up some old structures because it was comfortable. We found a way to deal with the uncomfortable. There was something plaguing us that we didn't want to do, and we found a way to make it work. You know, that happens in times, you know. Your sister's supposed to be visiting for a week, and you wake up 2 months later, she's still living in your house. You know, you gave a friend a couple grand, and a year or two later, they still owe you money. Or you took a second job just to make a little extra cash or to pay off a credit card, and you look up 5 weeks later, you're still working 2 jobs. Or you took a job just to make things work until you can go into your dream career or whatever, and you look up a decade later and you haven't made the move. You move into an apartment, you're supposed to be there a year or two or whatever, what have you, 6 months, whatever, and you look up a decade later and you're still there. You know, it's something like that. And we're going to be ejected from this little narrative that we have. That's the truth. Something's about to switch up. This open road, we were previously constricted in some kind of way. It typically means second guessing. And we're done because the pain to stay the same is going to not be as difficult. Well, the pain to stay the same is going to be much more than the pain to make a change. So now we'll change. And it was a long time in coming. And it might also be for someone else or something else or whatever, what have you. Because if there is another party here, and it's different for different folks. Sometimes this other party is our lower self, our former self, our higher self. Sometimes this other party is a twin that we haven't come into physical union with. Sometimes this other party is really this other timeline that we should be on. Very rarely is it an enemy, especially around the solstice, unless our life has been plagued by not being on the proper path because we were fighting hidden enemies. And in those few rare circumstances, it's because we're chosen. And there was some type of familiar, whether it was community, like a tribal community, or indigenous, or our actual family unit had understanding and knowledge about us, and they didn't really, a miseducation, a miscarriage of justice. And those happen in families where some kind of gift skips a generation. I see this happen a lot. And it comes in like pairings and then disappears and then comes back in triplicate and then disappears. So I'm seeing that muttered and uttered right now. It's being whispered all around. Oh, my mother put that curse on me, or, my grandma had the gift and I have the gift, but my mother's always been jealous, or I'm feeling that as well. So the thing about the equinox is it means the soul stands still, solstice. So it's a literally closing or opening of the door or changing of the guards. It can be a pivot point. It's not the eclipse where something gets removed from our life, but something becomes unbound, not unravel. We do have to make a choice. So it's been a long time in coming. Because somebody else here is a Virgo energy, probably a Virgo sun, or to another degree, Sagittarius rising. If there's a Sagittarius rising, they would have moon in the first house or a stellium of some kind, multiple planets, usually three or more, we call it a train. The King of Pentacles and the Hermit typically means somebody with their sun in Virgo or a Virgo midheaven, which is a Sag rising. Now, this person is most likely not us because it's not in the same trinity. It is the way that the energy is working, it means it's on the other side. So again, if there is an enemy, it could be talking about somebody that's a Virgo sun. Now, to a lesser degree, something could be happening in Virgo season, which is about almost 3 months from now. Right now it's 3 months from now, but it's closer to two. Because there's a hidden energy here. It might be an ulterior motive, a hidden agenda. There should be some cunning strategy, tactic, even. We need to have an intention and we need to take the stand in order to implement that, strike that will upon the universe. And to be honest, it's just going to be a little bit of a blazing. We're going to have to be just a little tiny bit blazing. Just a little tiny bit blazing. Now, if we've been wondering about love, because love came in for this one, it's going to be about another month, especially for new connections or for the healing of a current one. So now we have the Seven of Swords and the Two of Cups clarifying the Wheel of Fortune. So to be honest, we're bonded, we're unified, we're yoked to some energies, entities, ideologies that are not in alignment with us for some kind of reason. It doesn't always mean enemy, but it often can with the Seven of Swords, because the definition for that, if you compare it to the Five of Swords, the Seven of Swords is hidden enemies. And we just had the Hermit energy flow through, which means the sixth house. And that is the house of hidden enemies. Compared to the Five of Swords, which is open enemies, but that's more seventh house. So If it's not a hidden enemy, it could be that there's a hidden agenda and ulterior motive. At the very least, in its most benign, there's some type of cunning strategy or tactic that we need to implore. We might need to execute something very sneakily. An archaic meaning for the Seven of Swords is moving away in the middle of the night, meaning something's happening in broad daylight, but it might take some time to discern, and after then, it's already over. In terms of catching the person in the act, although there may be receipts left behind, usually there are. With this Two of Cups, the Seven of Swords is saying, like, there may be a breakup. And I don't know why, but I'm feeling third party energy. I think it came out in the clarifiers, but I have a feeling like something's been in the way to us getting unified with a person, place, or thing. It's multiple different here. So let me kind of put it. One, we're supposed to be on a path. It's not that we're 100% off the path, but we're also not 100% on the path. We were doing something for comfort, for soothing. And also, it was a narrative that we told ourselves. Maybe in the beginning, it was more accurate and appropriate, but now it's a fallacy. It's a narrative. It's a delusion, which is a false narrative. Okay. Let me say it different. We might be lying to ourselves. Some of us are. Take it as it resonates. Now, some of us are supposed to be connected to a person, but since we're not 100% in and of our own energy, in and of our own self, our frequency vibration is a little bit off. Something happened where the timelines didn't merge. That I'm not saying a corrective measure, but I do see a windfall. So if something was due to us, owed to us, because we're highly blessed, favored, chosen, and anointed, that's going to come through. It does require, however, that we begin to take action on any type of impetus or promise of material abundance. Because also what's happening right now is that enemies, entities, ideologies that are malevolent, malicious, malignant, adversarial, oppositional are being sealed out. The door is shutting on something, and it's something that's hidden or something that's blocking. We're supposed to be taking massive energy towards, or massive action, pardon, towards a raider, massive action, or somebody that is very attractive. Yeah, that's what I'm getting. We're going to start taking massive action towards whatever promise of material abundance is on our life. And if we do that, the gate will shut on anybody who's not in alignment. And I accidentally said anybody. I should have said anybody or anything. So it might be a person. Because if we go towards our hopes, our wishes, our dreams, our heart's desires, aspirations, something's going to shift energetically where that low vibrational, toxic, malangria negrosa, brujeria, santeria, striggeria, benederia, it's not going to work. Because there's a promise of a big, bright, beautiful future. It might include a man, but whatever it is, it's like something it has the potential for great, great, great growth. And we're already thinking about it in Seattle. It's already on our mind. It's already percolating. And then again, it's blessed and it's kissed by the divine. The universe is taking out a fatwa on something that doesn't belong. And fatwas are not as bad as they sound. It can be depending on the country that issues them, whatever excuse me, whatever court system issues them. So a fatwa really actually means that more information is needed because we may have a vendetta fight, which is that's the negative type of fatwa. But I'm hearing that word fatwa, fatwa. So something's not right. Okay, so we had the emperor and the empress come out. Okay. So once we get our ish together, once we get aligned and get our stuff in alignment, something's going to come right through. And it doesn't necessarily mean a man, because the Empress talks about the nurturing and the gestation and the creativity and the conception of an idea. It's the material side of spiritual affairs. Now, it's the receptive energy. Now, then the masculine energy or the Emperor, when that comes out, it typically does mean taking action. Yes, it is the divine masculine as well, but it means direct. We're more taking charge and implementing than we are nurturing and creating something. So it may be that we were planning, working behind the scenes, and then boom, data, there you go, it's out in public. An announcement or something manifested. Okay, because that's the spiritual side of material affairs. So we have the whole kit and caboodle, and then the sun comes out with the Ten of Swords. That's a manifestation after a long cycle of difficulty. It also was that light emerging after darkness. But the Five of Cups and the Ten of Swords is clarifying this. High Priestess, remember what I was just saying? I feel like there's a breakup, or if there's a third party, something's kind of. So also, like, if we're in something that's not working, it's gonna be over within a month or two. Because frankly, we're a golden goose, and we're gonna be working on something. We might be something here. Seems like a Libra rising for some of us, but we may be establishing foundations, becoming self-governed, self-mastered, and honestly, this is a golden goose. So we're working within whatever that brings us security, because we now have our options in our hand. Now we have autonomy, franchise, purchase, control over ourselves. The only bad option is one option, and we working that thing out. We doing the thing. I want to know what this Ten of Swords and the Sun is talking about. Yeah, the thing that was blocking our hope is here. Yeah, so we've been working on something for a while in the background, and it finally comes to fruition. La Fortuna. Okay, so the Sun and the Chariot came out. That's the solstice right there, the Sun in Cancer. But the cards here are not as pleasant. So we have two knights. Let's look at that. That's a convergence or competition conflict. Ace of Swords. Yeah, something settles because there's a pair of nines here. So it's the need to take space. And what we're going to be doing is withdrawing. So something, we're not going to be giving energy to something anymore. And for a long time, we were keeping on, holding on for whatever reason, probably some type of security. But we had stinking thinking. So we're now making changes, period, point blank, end of story. And it's because we have the thing to work on right now. And so we know how we're going to move forward. Knight of Pentacles with the Eight of Pentacles is needing to um, invest in something that's compounding or showing results. We also have a pair of eights. Isn't it interesting at the end of the reading we have a pair of eights and a pair of fives? Oops. Yeah, so we're just done. We're withdrawing from something because the road really wasn't opening up for us and it wasn't supposed to. So this solstice is saying that we're supposed to go onto the path. And the portal for something to end and transition is here. It's upon us. Especially for things that we've been working on or we've been in for a while that aren't working for us anymore. And now it's time to take charge, take command, and to handle up on whatever we need to. That's what this is saying here. So it's been an honor and a privilege and a pleasure to serve. Thank you for allowing me to do so. If anything, well, there's one other thing I could read, because this Chariot card is actually clarifying the Eight of Swords with the Queen of Cups. The Eight of Swords is like when we're second guessing. It's like we were timid to go after something, but now we're going after it fully. And that gives us a way to move on, to move forward. So we might have to overcome some kind of fear. It has been an honor and a privilege and a pleasure to serve. Thank you for allowing me to do so. If anything that was said resonates deeply with you, go ahead and smash that like button. I want to say a quick prayer for all those still lost out there, to illusion, delusion, confusion, lost in the seas of time, trapped somewhere in the matrix, yet to heal, yet to awaken, yet to return to the resplendent grace of the divine unconditional love and universal oneness. And we love you. Sorry. Please forgive us. Thank you. We ask that our steps be ordered, our path be illuminated, and that we find salvation and redemption in this life. May we all be happy. May we all be whole. May we all be at peace. May we all receive everything we ever wanted, starting with what we deserve. Until we meet again, until we read again, namaste, dandava, and ashe, sayonara, das vidanya, vidazing. Go ahead and smash that like button, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.